It's a real pleasure to be standing here today on this really momentous occasion. I want to congratulate Dominica. I want to say a really special word of thanks for inviting me to participate and share in this really tremendous celebration. I'm delighted. In a certain way, the Caribbean Court of Justice has always been your court. But today, it is completely your court in every respect. And it is now the final court of appeal for the Commonwealth of Dominica. The court as a whole appreciates the significance of this occasion. And our court, our whole court, is here with me to join you in solidarity on this occasion. And so I'm really pleased to be able to present to you and to the whole nation of Dominica, the judges and the registrar of the court who are here sharing in the ceremony. I'd like to first of all present the Honourable Justice Roseau Nelson. The Honourable Justice Adrian Saunders. The Honourable Justice Jacob Witt. The Honourable Justice David Hayton. And the Honourable Justice Winston Anderson. The Honourable Justice Maureen Ragareth Lee is being sworn in on the 27th of March, and she's here with us in spirit, I'm sure. I would also like to present to you the learned and distinguished registrar of our court, Mrs. Jacqueline Graham. And she has brought with her the registry supervisor, Mr. Nandi Al-Hadial. Well, we are here to serve you, and we really appreciate the opportunity, Mr. Prime Minister. Now, in addition to the accession of Dominica to the Appellate Jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice, there's another cause for celebration here today. And it is the publication of the second edition of Dr. Francis Alexis's book, Commonwealth Caribbean Constitutional Law. I think it's a fitting coincidence that an OECS citizen can be celebrated in tandem with the recognition of this momentous OECS achievement. I am delighted that this great scholar is part of this ceremony. It's a further demonstration of the international standard of our jurists and their contribution to knowledge and to the development of Caribbean jurisprudence. Contributions that are consistent with the mandate of the Caribbean Court of Justice. So I extend my congratulations to Dr. Alexis. And I am sure that his book will continue to illuminate the often tricky path of Caribbean constitutional jurisprudence. One of the Caribbean luminaries, and in fact, an illustrious Dominican jurist, the Right Honourable Telford Georges, regarded it as a compromise of sovereignty for Caribbean nations to remain wedded to a court which is part of the former colonial hierarchy. One of our contemporary leaders, Dr. Kenny Anthony, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, put it this way: the court has always been about, the court, that is the CCJ, has always been about the need for all the peoples of CARICOM to assert their confidence in their integrity, their civilization, and in themselves. No self-respecting nation should allow its sovereignty to be at large. In that context, Honourable Prime Minister, I extend my congratulations to the people of Dominica. To the Honourable Roosevelt Skerritt, Prime Minister of Dominica. And to the entire government and establishment in Dominica. On this definitive step, completing the circle of its independence. You have taken on the mantle of leadership in the Eastern Caribbean. I understand, Mr. Prime Minister, that this coincides with your current chairmanship of the OECS. And so it's fitting that your chairmanship is characterized by this accomplishment. Since I'm in this congratulatory mood, I should add one other point for your consideration. This year is the 10th anniversary of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Our anniversary date is the 16th of April, but we have decided to celebrate for the whole year. So it's a fitting coincidence that the accession of Dominica to the final appellate jurisdiction of the court has become an important part of our 10th anniversary celebrations. St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Vincent have constitutional arrangements identical to Dominica and can follow the same path that has now been so brilliantly illuminated. Grenada, with different constitutional procedures, is moving forward on its path to full accession. And a strong commitment to do the same has been expressed by Prime Minister Gaston Brown of Antigua. I really hope that this demonstrates that the momentum is growing throughout our region to complete the independence process. And I wish Jamaica well in its deliberations and fully trust that the exercise of political maturity will accrue to the benefit of its citizens. I've been advised that there has been some effort to educate the public here in Dominica about the Caribbean Court of Justice. So it is not necessary for me to say too much on this occasion. But I'll really merely recall that the Caribbean Court of Justice has two separate and distinct jurisdictions. It has an original jurisdiction in which it adjudicates on disputes arising with respect to the interpretation and application of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, which has established a Caribbean community, single market, and single market. So far, 10 cases have been filed under the court's original jurisdiction. And one example, which has attracted a lot of attention throughout the region, has been the case of Shanique Myrie against the state of Barbados, where the court determined that CARICOM nationals have a right to an automatic stay within member states of 6 months, subject to showing that the said national is not likely to become a charge on the public purse of the accepting country and does not fall within restrictively interpreted class of undesirable persons. The other jurisdiction is the Appellate Jurisdiction, where the court sits as a final court of appeal. And in this capacity, it replaces the Privy Council. Now, this jurisdiction has been well used in the 3 countries that have preceded Dominica in accepting this jurisdiction. That is Guyana, Barbados, and Belize. And already, there have been 151 cases that have been filed under our appellate jurisdiction. The CCJ is an independent court. It's not part of the domestic affairs of any member state. Its independence is assured by the institutional arrangements for the appointment of judges and by the character of the judges who have been selected in a competitive process and appointed. The selection process is competitive, transparent, rigorously transparent, and is completely free from political control or influence. In fact, scholars, international scholars, have been heralding the CCJ as an international model court. The main feature of the selection process is an independent and non-partisan body, the Regional Judicial and Legal Services Commission, a commission which comprises 11 persons. The President of the Caribbean Court of Justice is ex officio chairman. None of the other commissioners are appointed by any government. They are nominated independently by institutions within our region. And I should mention that the distinguished Dr. Lloyd Barnett of Jamaica is the longest serving member of the commission, having been nominated by the law schools among the first members of the commission, and his nomination has been repeated over the years. The CCJ offers increased access to justice for the people of the Caribbean. This is very evident in the countries where the CCJ is already the final court. Unlike the Privy Council, ordinary folk have been bringing their cases before the Caribbean Court of Justice. It is not only governments and big business who are litigants before our court. Many cases have come from Barbados, Guyana, and Belize, where people have brought their personal, domestic, land disputes before a court for justice. And I can assure you, proudly assure you, that our court is accessible to anyone who has a legitimate dispute that is worthy of adjudication at the highest level of justice. The CCJ is a modern court. It's a high-tech court. Cases in the CCJ can be heard online. Trials and case management conferences are conducted by video link. Official transcript of our proceedings is in the form of a video or audio record. And these transcripts are available on the court's website the same night of proceedings, providing transparency and access to the public at large Anyone can access these records by visiting the court's website. And people have been accessing the court's webpage. My assistant, judicial assistant, showed me a statistical report which revealed that over the past 3 years, the CCJ's website has been visited by over 66,000 individual users who viewed 483,523 pages. And, Mr. Prime Minister, 2,110 of these page views originated right here in Dominica. The technological and other innovations embraced by the CCJ have not come about by accident. They reflect the result of thoughtful planning and careful implementation of the court's strategic plan. A plan focused, among other things, to ensuring access to justice, independence, and accountability, and attaining and preserving public trust and confidence, and enhancing regional justice system performance. We believe that the court will serve the citizens of Dominica well. We believe that it's a well-functioning judiciary, which, like all well-functioning judiciaries, contributes to economic development and social stability. And we sincerely hope and trust that Dominica will derive these benefits from our operations here. Yesterday, just yesterday, we came in a bit early for this meeting, Mr. Prime Minister, and we held 2 training sessions at the court. The first one was for the registry staff of the High Court, and the second was for members of the Bar Association. Our objective was to sensitize them to the procedural rules of the Caribbean Court of Justice and to demonstrate filing procedures and techniques that are used in our electronic court folders. Providing this type of educational service is part of the strategic objective of our court, as we intend to support and drive the improvement of justice delivery services in our region. But today, I do not want to distract from the moment of celebration. Let us celebrate the accession of Dominica to the Caribbean Court of Justice. I suppose that we can marry the ancient with the modern, because an ancient Latin phrase encapsulates the power and import of judicial independence, the same independence that characterizes the court. Fiat justitia ruat caelum, which being translated means, let justice reign, though the heavens fall. Dominica's decision to accept both jurisdictions of the Caribbean Court of Justice is a step forward for Dominica, for the OECS, and for the region. I congratulate you and bid you a warm welcome to the court.